We have gorgeous custom characters, and did someone want massively oversized warhammers? Hey guys, Dantix here, back with another Dragon Age Veilguard video. The game isn't far away now, and the team have ramped up their information drip feed. Today, IGN released another companion video. It mostly goes through the same things we've already discussed about companions, as you'd expect, but it also hides within it nuggets of juicy information and new footage. So let's throw the interview into the trash and focus on what you're really interested in: new stuff. This includes feminine hairstyles, lightning magic, some rogue combat, said oversized warhammers, two-handed warriors, new rook customizations, new ways to command, achievements, a closer look at combat, and much, much more. First, I'm celebrating being close to 250k subs. You can win tons of prizes. To enter, follow the link below and keep an eye out for the purple hidden word in my videos. Okay, first we get another look at Balara, Nev, and a custom female Canary. This one doesn't look like a troglodyte megamind. It seems you can customize your horns, as these ones are different, but most importantly, long hair is in the game. So the extreme lack of long hairstyles in Inquisition is a thing of the past, thank God. There's only so many half-shaved bad bitch haircuts you can see on NPCs before you wonder if the whole realm of Thedas has only one hair salon. Meanwhile, this clip is running over the deb describing that as you get to know your companions better, they will level up, aka they'll get skill points. It then gives us a good look at the Chain Lightning Mage spell, which is only 3 pips away from the starting center node. It's a strike projectile type ability, does decent damage. I say decent because 125 at low levels is a lot. It applies Overwhelm but costs 2 mana pips. It hits multiple targets as you'd expect from a Chain Lightning. What is interesting though is that electricity damage for Rook will work around the Overwhelm status, meaning an electricity focus will work well with companions that have high stagger and stagger builds, since Overwhelm increases the stagger they take. Jumping into combat, you can see that Davrin is one of the companions who will press the stagger advantage. He has Heroic Strike that deals high stagger damage and also applies Overwhelmed. The player stops the action to have Balara cast Fade Bolts, which applies shock on hit but also detonates Sundered. Not really helping in this situation as the Veilguard is only bleeding. The rogue then activates the Murder of Crows ultimate, which is an ability you get investing in the Duelist specialization. It does a lot of damage in an AoE. You might have missed this, but look at this strange sword. It curves upwards like a jester's shoe and has a strange glow. I'm sure there'll be far crazier sword designs in the game than this. Now we're in the Blighted Tunnel. The Blight used to be a slow-moving wall of corruption, but now it's more alive, organic, due to the Blighted Elven Gods. So we get these exploding organic sacks to avoid, as well as modified Darkspawn, which is why they look different. We're on a warrior now with a sword and board. You'll notice that yes, melee can have a wide sweeping hitbox, meaning you can hit multiple enemies in a single swing with the right weapons. Bringing up the ability wheel, we command Lucanus to cast Debilitate, which deals necrotic damage, and Darkspawn are resistant to that, but it also deals high stagger and applies Sundered, making them take more damage. We can then easily dispatch the enemies. You'll also notice the banter. Rook thanks Lucanus after he uses his ability. So here we are on a warrior. It's clear that this is a lower level warrior because it only has 2 abilities right now. You'll notice that as the hammer lands, we get some rage and our skills are active. So this class will be about taking and dealing damage in order to put out more. Here we see the female Canary Rook, Balara, Nev, and Harding. Harding still has these scars, so I'm fearing they're going to keep her this way. Honestly, a lot of fans are going to be pissed off. They waited a long time for this romance option. The dev is talking about Balara, and in this scene, we see a man tied up with weird tentacles, so yeah, I'm getting the impressions the dev had fun making the Japanese-looking elf quest involving... never mind. What is more awesome is this custom character. Now, this does look good, much better than the Canary, an elf rogue with cool facial tattoos and long hair. Here's another angle of Balara. We see Emmerich holding a really cool staff, and Tasha's artificial jade horn. The characters in this scene look much better than they do in combat. Speaking of, we get another look at some rogue gameplay. The action is paused so we can see Balara's enfeebling shot. It does electric damage, deals high stagger, and applies the weakened effect. We also get Davrin to fire off the Asan strike, which commands his griffin to swoop in.
Swooping is bad.
You'll notice the enemy being knocked to the ground because of it. What is interesting though is we don't need to go into our ability wheel to command our companions. You'll see here that if you press an associated button, you can command them to do their attack. Up, left, right trigger, down, right, and right bumper. Then we see a new rogue ability. I'm not sure what the name is, but we press A and fire off this electric ground slam. After doing so, your body bursts with electric blasts multiple times. The enemy is pushed back, and on the final hit, sends him tumbling over the edge. We see a lot of enemies taking a little tumble off a cliff.
A little tumble off the cliff.
That means that using the environment will be an honest consideration for you in fights, highlighted by the fact we also get a Falling for You achievement on Steam. Defeat an enemy by knocking them off a ledge during combat. Then we have our companions sitting at a table together debriefing on a mission. It seems they all had a memory experience in their native language, according to Emmerich. Davrin is also carving some wood while others discuss, maybe to calm his nerves or maybe his rage. Tea is a common theme here as well, with Lucanus drinking some and later Emmerich's skeleton holding a tray with kettle and cups. He's a skeleton butler with an outstanding voice actor. We get a closer look at how casually Lucanus, the master assassin, is holding his tea and leaning against Emmerich's chair. Perhaps they feel comfortable around each other, both masters of death in some way. Just look at Lucanus cracking a smile. Oh my god, they're gonna hook up, aren't they? We're back on the warrior now. We have some more abilities. We are tasked to find the sex cauldron.
Sex cauldron? I thought they closed that place down.
By pressing B, we launch off some kind of jumping hammer slam. You summon an ethereal hammer with bull horns and slam it down on the enemy, a massive hurlock. It seems to deal a lot of stagger, but doesn't apply any status effects. That's because it detonates one. You'll see that later. You'll also notice that the player tries to use an ability, but is out of rage. The player has a two-handed hammer or polearm of some kind. Please don't hit me up in the comments with actually it's a Bector Corbin, because I really don't have the time to do correct historical research. What is most interesting though, is that the bigger hurlock casts some kind of blight spray ability that hurts the little one and propels him forward. So there is team damage, at least for enemies. Now we listen to Emmerich's voice actor. Let's do.
Perhaps these murals aren't simply memories. They're what Solus wishes to forget.
Here we are in Emmerich's room again, but this time we get a better look at his skeleton butler, Manfred, who is like a son to Emmerich. It's a spirit that's been given a chance in a skeleton body, and in many ways is like a child that needs to develop. So expect some charming moments. So here we are with Davrin, Emmerich, and a new custom rook, this time a human. Davrin's griffin, Asan, will join you in cutscenes and at your base of operations. In battle, he'll be on 2 of Davrin's abilities, giving Davrin a form of range when needed. Here we have a conversational choice with him, and we know Davrin appreciates the hardline approach. Instead, we choose the light-hearted response, and though you don't lose influence with him, you don't gain it either. So back to the warrior, this time with a sword and board. It might actually be the same characters, as you can switch weapons with a press on the down D-pad. We'll get a good look at this character soon. We charge him with the hammer strike ability again, then dance around to avoid taking damage from his horde of darkspawn. Notice at the top, there's a health bar for the entire horde. Not sure if this is the collective health of the whole wave, which seems the most likely, or an individual mob, but this fight seems very threatening. The warrior tries some charge heavy attacks, then a shield toss. Finally ends it with a heavy that applies bleeding, probably an effect on an item. Then we get another look at Asan. I have to admit, he's cute as hell, and I definitely will consider Davrin on my team just for him. Here we are again with Davrin, Emmerich, and Asan making a conversational choice, and oh my god, this custom rook is stunning! This actually annoys me a little bit, because why can we make characters like this, but none of the romance options come close? Bioware, I am calling you out here. Okay, moving on. We're back on the warrior against this repellent berserker. We order Lucanus to debilitate the target, then Emmerich to detonate the Sunder effect with Final Rites. Final Rites is a high damaging necrotic spell that deals damage to all enemies within 4 meters, as well as of course detonating the Sundered effect Lucanus applied. Then Supermodel Rook charges her shield and tosses it at the comboed enemy, Captain America style, following up with some melee attacks. So we got our first good look at Tash. It took this footage to make me realize we really haven't seen the character at its best angles. It's not a bad looking model when in cutscenes. Of course, you'll want Tash if you want a swole teammate, because look at those arms. Back to Hottie McHotface jumping in and smashing the ground as hard as I would smash. This combat gives us a look at Nev's ability, Glacial Pace. Decent frost damage, applies both chilled and weakened on hit, which combos with the big boot looking ability. Nev gets off the ability and we see the enemy in the background frozen in place from the chilled effect while we take on the greater Hurlock. We slash it a few times and give it the drop kick, pushing it back and making it seem like this would be the perfect attack for knocking foes off cliffs. It might be the reason you pick Warrior. So before, we saw that Nev's ability primed the weaken effect on the enemy. It seemed that the charged hammer strike ability detonates weakness. Her hammer strike would definitely detonate my weakness. Okay, enough of that. Look, don't blame me for these jokes. The producer has talked a lot about companion relationships and romances and which is the steamiest. For her, it was Tasha's, so they have designed the game to hook people into romances. So let's move on to Harding, who still has a messed up face here, poor thing, which adds to my previous point. She will be your ranged damage powerhouse and will be your character's link to the Inquisition and what's happening there. Moving on, we have Solus, who will fit into a more advisory role. But can you trust him? Here we get another look at the face tattoo badass elf Rook. The models do look a lot better in the cutscenes. I love how complicated Solus is as an antagonist. He truly believes he was fixing the world, not destroying it. And I'm gonna save you, Solus, I will. Now we're on to Varric, another returning character. He's older and wiser, but still has that relationship with Solus that will make this job difficult. This Canary custom character looks very Disney princess here, and with that, we end the video. That's all the new information. What did you think? Let me know below. Are you getting more or less pumped? Don't forget to sign up for the competition, and if you want to keep the conversation going, be sure to join my Discord. For everything RPG, you're in the right place. Ciao, friends.